The Buschy and Bobo Show, a healthy scratch podcast. Here's your hosts, Kyle Busch and Brian Rager.
Welcome back to the Buschy and Bobo Show, episode 44. It is, Bobo, what day is it? Well, it's not the day, but like, what are we doing here?
Well, it's trade deadline week.
It's the trade deadline preview show.
The preview
Buschy and
show?
Bobo, healthy scratch, trade deadline preview. Say that a million times fast, because we're talking all things trade deadline today. And I couldn't be more excited. We just did a pod the other day. Listened to it. We sounded and looked good. Okay.
Looking good was never the issue. It's always the audio, which is always fun to deal with.
Yeah, and I'm sure this will go swimmingly, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So we did this last year. We did it the year before, and it's something where, like, I guess we should probably go through how we came up with the list, because, and this is just like kind of Scout's honor, but I tried not to look at lists. Obviously, there's going to be stuff on Twitter, and like you can't get away from it.
Yeah, there's any of the sites that they have a list, and I did most of mine by what I think. I did look at a couple lists afterwards and started sort of see where I landed.
Am I way off? Right?
Yeah.
So, like, for anybody watching or listening, Scout's honor, we tried to make this list, and it's not that hard. And like, what I can say is this is how we did it. We went through every single team in the league, and Bobo in a second is going to go through some of the buyers, the sellers, the teams in the middle. But what we did was look at which teams are at the bottom, who would be selling, which teams are at the top and would be buying, what are the teams that are kind of in the middle, okay? And then eventually it's something where we looked at how much cap space did these buyers have versus what players on these selling teams would potentially be moved if they're unrestricted free agents, or there's players that maybe need to be moved, they need a new situation, or they have worth, right? So that's something that we definitely looked at and went, what are we going to do? And then we lined it up, and you will see the chart eventually. But what I'm going to allow Bobo to do here is go through the teams in the league, and you're going to notice that the ones at the bottom of the standings are selling, the ones at the top are buying, and then some ones in the middle we weren't sure. So, Bobo, take it away.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for passing it around over. So, yeah, for sellers, there's we have there 9 teams or so that are complete sellers. Anaheim, Chicago, San Jose, Arizona, Minnesota, Calgary, Columbus, Ottawa, Montreal, Buffalo. All these teams are dog shit. So, I'm not gonna sugarcoat.
I mean, well, they are.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
They clearly are pretty bad. So we got the sellers, right?
So
go buyers, just because those ones were pretty obvious too.
Yeah, it's your top teams in the league. So Vancouver, Vegas, Edmonton, who's on a heater right now, LA, Dallas, Colorado, Winnipeg, even though their attendance sucks, Boston, Florida. And then like Toronto, Detroit's on a nice tear, nice little streak, or was on a streak. Good last couple of games. Tampa, New York, the Rangers, and then the Hurricanes there. And then where we saw some of these ones in the middle that we're not sure, are they buyers, are they sellers, are they going to be going for a run or not? Pittsburgh, because I'm hearing that there's going to be some big moves out of Pittsburgh. Whether or not that's true or not,
it's something now where I feel like they're in almost like sell mode. Like they don't want to be, but they have to be, because they're falling down. Like, we made this list like maybe 5 or 6 days ago. Things change, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then people are always saying, "Oh, Crosby's going to get traded." No, he's not on this list. Don't worry. Other teams in the middle there, which we weren't too sure about, was New Jersey, but again. You look at recently, like today, they fired Pokey Ruff, and
listen, I sent Bobo something where I said, "Hey, Lindy Ruff got fired by the Devils," and it changed Lindy to Pokey, so now he's Pokey Ruff.
He's Pokey Ruff. The Isles, the Capitals, the Kraken, Nashville, St. Louis, Philly.
Nashville's been on a heater too, so Nashville might actually be looking to get something because they've won, I think, like 8 in a row. So that's something where I didn't really even take that in consideration. But so they're kind of in the middle team. We kind of looked
Yeah,
at who they had
we're
available.
not sure are they buyers or the sellers. Like if I look at the wild card right now, they're the second wild card team.
Yeah, so
So
they're in the playoffs. So it's like that's something where things did change a little bit. So when we go through our list, just keep that in mind. Some of those teams that were in the middle have moved a little bit, and they might move in the next 3 days
3 days,
until
you never
Friday.
know.
You never know what happens. A couple wins changes things, a couple losses changes things, right? So
Absolutely.
so that is our buyers, sellers, and then kind of in the middle teams. Now what we're going to pull up is our full kind of comprehensive list. I think people know I love my Excel sheets, so we go through everything. What we will do is go through all the teams that are buying, go through their situation, what they need, their cap hits, and then what we will do is go through the players that we believe are our top 25 and go through all of their issues and what maybe some teams would be looking for them, and hopefully what we will see is that we hit on some of these
If
guys if
we
they
hit
get
on a
traded.
few, then we've done our job.
Yeah. So without further ado, let us look at our trade chart. Here it is. Uh, what you're going to see is exactly what I just said. So what I want to do is me and Bob are going to take turns going through the teams that you see at the top. Now these represent the buyers, the teams that would be looking to add to their team. The order that they are in is their cap space as of like 4 or 5 days ago. So again, this will probably change a little bit. Just because you see a team has $14,000 in cap space does not mean they can't make a move. I'm looking at
Exactly.
ULA.
Yeah.
So a lot of these teams are, like we said, they're up against the cap, and there are teams that can make some moves, and it might mean salary out, salary in, you know, retention with a third team involved, or even just having your own team involved. So starting it off, obviously, I've got my Red Wings shirt on. Detroit Red Wings, in my opinion, should be buying right now. Just today, they just said Dylan Larkin is out for 2 weeks. Now that is not nothing. So I'm a little concerned. Sure, I don't know if it's going to change much of what Yzerman's going to do. I don't think a lot of these like other external factors really weigh into his decision making. Like he's going to make a gut decision based on, oh my God, my captain's out, I'm selling. Like that's just
Yeah.
not how it is. So the Red Wings have 10.286 million in cap space. And when we went through and looked at some of these things, for the positions, we used Daily Faceoff, our friends at Daily Faceoff, and went through their lineups and just considered, well, what would maybe these teams need or want or should go after with the Red Wings? Kind of anything. I put left wing, center, left D, right D. Um, as a Red Wings fan myself, the kind of rumor is, the reporting is they're looking to move a defenseman. I'm thinking it's Justin Hall because he hasn't played like at all. I just think they're trying to get rid of a body. Simon Edvinsson is ready to play, and I don't know how they're going to get him into the lineup other than addition by subtraction. And I think they're going to be in the market for a forward, and especially with Larkin being out for a couple of weeks now, it would help grabbing another center. Derek Lalonde has gone on record saying they wanted another forward that can kind of play center and wing and kind of do it all. So that's what the Red Wings are looking for. $10 million in cap space. They have all the prospects and picks in the world to make something happen if they want. So moving on, Bobo.
Yeah. Yeah. Tampa there. We have them next at with 6.775 mil there in cap space. And yeah, looking at what we think they need, a right wing and then eat a defenseman. Like they're
Well, one of the things with them is Sergachev's out,
yeah.
which is big. And so maybe in the trade market for a D. But the rest of their forwards are pretty good, right?
Yeah, I think it'd be about adding more depth for them. It's like
They have the big boys, right?
yeah, they got their
And
top two lines and they're
what they don't have is what they had with their cup runs. That line of Yanni Gord, Blake Coleman, like the third line guys, the Corey Perrys of the world. Like they don't really have that right now. Like they have Luke
no.
Glendening. Like good luck with that. The Vegas Golden Knights, $6 million in cap space right now. Jack Eichel took warm-ups tonight. He might have played, I don't know. We're recording as maybe the game is going on. But the Golden Knights would be looking at, in my opinion, any type of forward, left wing, center, right wing. We talked about this last episode, the cap circumvention Golden Knights, with Mark Stone being on LTIR, not counting against the cap, and then if he stays out all year and comes back in the playoffs, it's just kind of a cluster bleep. So I mean, they can go out and get anybody they want. So I said the Vegas Golden Knights are going to be in on everybody.
Yeah, and then we'll move over to Carolina there with $5 million. Looking for a center or a goalie there. It's Freddie Anderson's out on the IR. You're going with Pyotr
Kochetkov.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. And Spencer.
Yeah, he's an
Martin.
Irishman.
So he's an Irishman. So looking at a solid goaltender there, going down the stretch to help them out, and then same thing, going with another center. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I think just getting some depth. I think with that one, we didn't really put. And the thing is we can't really put if they need a top line guy or like a fourth liner, a third liner. I'm thinking with them, they do need probably like a third line center, like nothing crazy. Because really, what I thought is they really only need a goalie. Like the rest of their team is pretty good.
They got Jordan Stahl there as their third line center right now.
Right. So it's like if you want a little bit of depth, like go for it. Because I go like it's Carolina. They're probably going to take a swing at somebody because they have the luxury of doing so. Speaking of that, the Rangers, $4.3 million in cap space. I have them just going after a right winger. I think they're a pretty complete team. Their goaltending is great. Their defense is solid. Their center depth is really good. And then their wingers are good too. I just look at, in the top two, maybe look for like, go for a swing on somebody. And I know we're going to go through some of the players, but they went for Tarasenko last year. It didn't really work for them. They could go after him again this year if they really wanted to maybe get a top 9 forward. That's what I would think that the Rangers need.
Yeah, moving on to the Jets there with $4.3 million. We have them looking at a left winger and a right defenseman there. So left on down the wing right now, they're going Kyle Connor, Alex Iafallo, Nito Niederreiter, and Morgan Barron. So
it's pretty good.
It's not too bad, but you know what? If to make a run, I think you just need to upgrade there over Iafallo.
Did you see on Spit and Chicklets they said somebody, an NHL player in their division, said that the Winnipeg Jets are the biggest like frauds of all time?
Yes, I did see something like that on the gram.
It's like, holy crap, that's hilarious. So it just comes out and just starts swinging. But Florida Panthers have about the same cap space. They have $4.289 million, and I have them going after anybody. Now, I saw them live the other day against the Red Wings, and damn, are they a good team. I mean, Bobrovsky and net. You have so many guys up front. Just so you know, I saw a highlight right before we started filming of Alexander Barkov. I think they're playing the Rangers tonight. Puck flies up in the air. He knocks it up and over somebody as he's getting tripped and makes a pass to somebody for a goal. Are you shitting me? He's so underrated. He's so good. So they have all the tools to go to the final again and maybe get it done because they have a little bit of cap space. Use it. Use the picks. Use the prospects you have. Go and get anything. If you can get anybody in here that's going to help you out, go get them. That's where the Panthers are at right now.
Yeah, the Panthers are sitting good, but I think Dallas is sitting really well with the team there. Like we just have them looking at a goalie, and even then, like you have Ottinger in there, who's
just as a backup, maybe.
Yeah, but maybe you go after a veteran guy to you have that that deeper playoff run.
Yeah, a guy maybe Jake Allen or something.
Jake Allen, Marc-Andre Fleury, someone like that.
That's what I was thinking. Well, they already got their defenseman with Tanev, right? So they already checked a box. So they already went after somebody. So again, another team like Florida, where I'm like, that could be the final.
It's
Panthers
a good
and Stars.
Yeah, because Dallas, I'm looking at their lineup right now, and it looks pretty solid down at least 3 lines, if not all 4 lines solid, and then the D is just they just like I said improved it there with Tanev.
For sure. I'm going to let you do Vancouver too, buddy. You go for it.
Oh,
This is just my opinion. If you want to change this up, you tell me. This is just my opinion. If you want to change this up, you tell me.
No, Vancouver here. Looking at a left winger. Let's see let me pull up their line combo.
275 in cap space, so not a ton, but enough to work with.
Yeah, and I can see where you're going there with the left winger there, like Hoglander's on the top line there, Mikheyev, Podkolzin, and Di Giuseppe. It's
like
down the
maybe
right.
get like a veteran dude, you know what I mean, or somebody that's going to be a legitimately big top line muncher, you know.
Yeah, I think someone that could fit between that in the like you could rotate them between the couple lines there, have that veteran presence. Like down the center, I'm fine with. Down the wings, I'm fine, and even defensively, maybe go after another defenseman, like a right-handed defenseman.
Well, like they technically like Zadorov, right? Like they got him during the year.
Yeah,
which I loved that pickup because now you've got some absolute trees back there with Zadorov and Myers.
Yeah,
right?
Myers is out right now.
Right. But so, I mean, I think that's the thing is with some of these really good teams, it's hard to really look at, well, what do you need? It's like not really anything. I mean, luxury like that. So I put left wing just because that was the only thing I could identify as, okay, well, maybe they'll bring in Phil the Thrill.
Yeah. Well, there's been all the talks about him skating with, like he's been skating with Abbotsford, and I've seen a couple of videos, and
yeah, he's old, but she's there to shoot, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
The Oilers have 1.8 million in cap space. I do have them looking at a left wing as well, and maybe a backup goalie to Stuart Skinner. The thing is with the Oilers, it's kind of the same thing with the Leafs every year, where it's like they kind of need the same things, and you have the studs, you already have them, and your core is right there. You have McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, in the back end, Darnell Nurse, and Skinner's a good goalie. So you hope that if you're an Oilers fan, that he's the one that can step up and get this done. But same idea as Dallas, maybe we go and get a veteran backup, right? Where for Carolina, I'm looking at, I want a stud. I'm going to sell the farm to get somebody good.
Yeah.
But with the Oilers, I mean, I could see them going after anybody, a lot of depth. This is a Ken Holland type thing where he'll go and get like a third line guy for like a second round pick. Like that's what he does. He'll go get somebody. So that's what I think the Oilers will do.
And then moving on to the other Canadians, 3 Canadian teams in a row here. Nice. The Leafs, goaltending and D. Is Samsonov the guy to get them through? Who knows? Maybe it's getting that, like I said, another backup, so someone with someone that maybe has that more experience. It's
because like who's it going to be? Is it Samsonov? Is it Woll? Like is it Martin Jones? Like who are we doing here? Right? Like
it's the carousel of goaltending, and seems like that's been it the last couple of years with the Leafs. So
yeah, and I put defense just because like they were in on Tanev, right? So I'm assuming they'll look for someone else. You always need defense, right?
Yeah,
they're always looking for them. It's always a problem.
You hear the rumors of them going after, like they're going to be taking their swing at Hannafin and all that, but
they'd need a couple of retentions in that, and it's just
exactly. It's probably Toronto media too saying that.
Of course, they're in on everybody. So. But the thing is like they're eventually going to have where the cupboard's bare. Like that's what happened with the Red Wings. Like they had no more prospects or picks to trade. Like you just run out of resources where you're going to have to get to a point where it's like we got to sell a guy to get resources back. That's just how it is. But they're going for it again. They should be.
Exactly.
That's how it is.
They're in that time right now. They're in that window frame. So
yep. I have the Avalanche with about $500,000 in cap space, and they're sick. Like they're so good, and I really just only have them going after like maybe a goalie. Again, back up Georgiev or get like a 1B for them. They're such a good team. I mean, they added Zach Parise, so they got that veteran presence. Some of these guys. You look at their lineup, it's pretty nasty. So there's some funny rumors about like Sidney Crosby to the Avalanche.
Exactly. Yeah, I've heard that.
I don't think you can, number one, give up enough to get him, and also how are you going to fit that in, right?
Yeah.
But this is another thing where like again, I don't think Landeskog's coming back, but if he doesn't count against the cap. So maybe they're looking at that as their trade deadline acquisition, which is something that Ken Holland would say. Damn.
Just sounding like him now.
Yeah. Kicking tires.
Boston always seems to be Boston always does something. It seems like the last couple trade deadlines, they've always brought in somebody and here it's another center and a winger.
Yeah, I mean Boston.
What do you want to say about Boston? Like they're
It's
always
one of
they're always
those.
doing something.
I put center just because like they're still rocking with the same guy. Like I don't Pavel Zaka and Charlie
Zaka,
Coyle.
Coyle, Geeky, and Boqvist.
Does that sound good to you? It doesn't. But the thing is like Boston's on a little bit of a skid right now. Like Florida passed them. That hot start that the Bruins had, it's gone. So, they need a little bit of help. But I put up front because I do like their D, but their depth up front just it's not it. They had to do things like go after JVR for like a league minimum just to have a body.
Yeah,
Because again they have no cap space, 57 grand.
57 grand's not much.
That's like someone's salary.
True.
Yeah, and then speaking of like a Tim Hortons worker salary, 14 grand left for the LA Kings. I mean, left wing and a lefty. I mean, again, they're a team that's been in the hunt here for a couple of years, just quietly. But they've had guys like Quentin Byfield come on, and a couple of their young guys. Um, but like one thing that I really don't understand is when they made that Pierre-Luc Dubois trade and they gave up Gabe Vilardi and Alex
Yeah,
Iafallo. What are you doing? Like they're both better than him. I'm not sure. Sometimes these GMs make moves where I just go, "What are you thinking?" So that's what a lot of their cap space went to, and so I don't really see them doing a ton unless they're moving out
yeah.
contracts, which I don't know
Like
who
I
that
said,
would be.
it'd be addition by subtraction, but who knows what that looks like
Ex-
with them.
exactly. So those are all the teams that would be buying, all their situations, and now we're going to try to do maybe fairly quickly is go through our top 25. Actually, I think I've got like
I think
27 right
27
there,
there, give or take.
which is fine. But I'll start it off. Now you're going to see, obviously, all the way on the left in bold is our rankings 1 through 27. That is an average of my rankings and Bobo rankings put together. So you'll see in the columns what we each ranked these players. And there's some that are like completely different. That's just how it is. But that's why we compiled them into one list. So one thing we were in lockstep with is Noah Hannafin is our number one, both of us.
Yeah,
Calgary Flames defenseman, lefty. He's making $4.95 million right now. He is unrestricted at the end of the year, which means you're gonna have to give him an extension, or he's a pure rental. Most of these guys will be pure rentals, and he's got for a defenseman 11 goals, 24 assists, 35 points. So I would say top of the list. Now, if you are a team that's looking to acquire him, will you extend him? That's another question.
that's the big question.
Now, going through some of the teams that I think will be interested based on what we just went through, all on the top of that column there, I have the Red Wings, the Lightning, the Leafs, and the Panthers. Those would be the main teams that I think he would be looking to go to. At the same time, he has said that he wants to be in the States, so that might take Toronto out of the running. Um, as a Wings fan, I would be okay with this, although now you have a logjam on the left side, but I'll take more talent, that's for sure. Tampa Bay, to try to get something for Sergachev. And I mean, Florida, just because, like, why the hell not, right? I mean,
Yeah,
if you're Hannafin, you want to go somewhere like that. So
don't pay
those are the
that
teams
income
that I
tax.
think might go after Noah Hannafin.
Yeah, and then number two here we got Jake Gunsel there playing both. He can play either wing there, making 6 mil, another UFA, 52 points. I had him ranked number 4. Buschy had him number 2, and averaging out it came into 2. It could have been 2-3. So we pretty much had it pretty close there. Teams of interest again: Detroit, uh, Vegas, Winnipeg, Vancouver, Edmonton. Uh,
I've just heard rumors about him with Detroit. Like, I don't know if that's something where Eiserman would sign him to an extension, because that's probably what he would be looking for. And I don't think the Wings are going for pure rentals unless they cost like a 6th-round pick. So, like, if you're getting either of those top two guys because they can afford them, but like Vegas, yeah, they could afford to just let him sit because he's hurt right now.
yeah,
They could acquire him and just let him chill, right?
just bring
Um,
him back
I
once
mean,
it's time, and
imagine him on the Canucks.
I would take
Be a
it. Absolutely.
perfect fit for them. And Edmonton, yeah, I mean, you'd want a top 6 guy to play with, like McDavid. Gensel sounds like a good one, so I definitely would think that. Now, UC Saros is ranked 3rd. I had him at number 4. Bobo had him at 2. He is making $5 million for a year, and that's for next season too. He's under contract, and he's got a 261 goals against average right now. But we've just said Nashville's been going on a run. They're in the wild card. We made this list when they were kind of slumping. They were, well, not even slumping. Maybe the first 3 or 4 wins they climbed up. But if they were selling, I think the only team that would be really going hard after him and could afford him, and it just makes sense, would be the Carolina Hurricanes, because Kochetkov right now is their only guy. Anderson's hurt. You need a number one goalie, and UC Saros is like
He'd be
arguably top 5. Like he's a good
number
goalie
one goalie there for him.
for sure. So I just see him going to the Hurricanes. So
Yeah,
kind of narrow it down like that, right?
Yeah, and then coming in next, number 4 there, Jacob Chikrin. You had him at 3, I had him at 8. Playing either side, either D there, making 4.6, and still have him under contract for 1 more year. Guy has 31 points, 9 goals, 22 assists. And then a lot of the teams that we're looking on the D there, again, Detroit, Tampa, Toronto, Florida.
Same teams. Same type of teams that we're looking for him.
Pretty much anything with D that we've been saying is going to be you're going to hear a lot of repeat there. So
yeah, I think it's like one of those things where it might make sense. Like, again, I know I'm going wings slant here, but like, because he has that extra year, you're kind of guaranteed you have him. You can see how he works out with you, and I mean his age does fit that core. So does Hanifin, but like, I just want another defenseman in there that isn't named Jeff Petrie or Despair.
Fair enough.
Justin Hall. The list goes on. Justin Hall should probably be on this list, honestly. I think the Wings are going to try to move him. But here is our first centerman, and it's Adam Henrique. Now, he is older, 33, 34 years old.
34, I want to say.
We have him ranked 5. I had him at 8. Bobo had him at 3. And I got to say, it's probably because he's a centerman, because there's not that many centermen available that are pure. He does play the left wing as well. He's making 5.825. He is unrestricted this year, but his tagline is pretty good for an Anaheim Duck player. 18 goals, 24 assists for 42 points on a team that's bottom 3 in the league. So he can still do it. I think a team like the Golden Knights, even the Hurricanes, the Bruins, that's where I think it would fit. Like, you think about the Bruins, right? They need another centerman, or they want some depth. You can put Adam Henrique in the top 6. You'll be fine. And he is one of those kind of playoff performers. I always think of him as like in the Devils run when they went to the final, where they had Kovalchuk and Ponikarovsky and all those guys. Old Windsor Spitfire. So I think that's a few of the teams that fit the best.
Yeah. Speaking of dumpster fire teams, we're going to go with the Ottawa Senators here. And Vladimir Tarasenko, he's got some skills in him still, and he has 41 points on a bad Ottawa team, 17 and 24 there, making $5 million UFA. I know we had him pretty much there at 7 and 6. He's a guy on an Ottawa team that should be moving out this deadline. I
think so. Yeah, and they're in clear sell mode, right? So
yeah,
it's just interesting that you get the usual teams up there, like Rangers. I don't know if they go after him a second time, but they could use a player like that. And again, not a lot of like top end talent that you can go for as a pure rental. Tarasenko would be a good one. At number 7, we have Scott Laughton of the Flyers. I had him at 10. Bobo had him at 5. Again, probably same reason. He is a centerman. He's got 2 more years left after this year. 9 goals, 22 assists for 31 points. The Flyers are in the playoffs right now. But it's just interesting. We keep hearing rumors about they might trade Scott Laughton. So I'm like, all right, he's got to be on our list. And I have the Golden Knights, the Hurricanes, the Oilers, and the Bruins, all teams that could use maybe a little bit of a kick down the middle, or just in general have a player that, like Scott Laughton, is defensive minded and kind of I would say a heavier player, a playoff type guy. So that's where I have Scott. Yeah, he's a playoff guy.
Yeah, that's your in and on. Just he's a playoff guy.
Yeah,
fair enough.
You know what's hilarious?
What?
I am blanking on who number 8, what his first name is.
Sean.
Sean Walker. Yeah, I was gonna say like
I
Nate
looked
Walker.
it
Who
up
the
just
hell's that?
so I didn't seem like an idiot. So
Paul Walker is available. What are you
yeah,
talking about? So anyway, you go
yeah,
ahead with Sean Walker. Is
Sean
it
Walker.
Scene? Is it is it
Yeah,
Scene
it's
Walker?
Cian
God
Walker.
damn, he's one of those.
Yeah, it's one of them making 2.65
A guy
this
asked me
year.
today at work if my name was Kyle with a C, and I almost punched him in the face.
Huh?
Yeah,
How would you no?
I don't know. I
The
don't get it.
Cile?
Cyle.
No, Cile.
Sile. Yeah,
Kyle.
weird.
Child.
Just call me Bushy
Exactly right.
with a C.
So
See how I
Buschy
did
with
that
a
shit?
C. Jesus Christ.
Go ahead, Sean Walker.
Sean Walker, yeah, defenseman, making 2.65, has 6 goals, 16 assists for 22 points. Again, Tampa with Sergachev out, it's another guy that can play either side there for him. Toronto looking for that defenseman, and then put LA in there. They had to move. They had to do something with the move, but it's
Do something.
you never know. Yeah, do
Yeah,
something.
for sure. At 9, we have Pavel Buchnevich of the St. Louis Blues. He plays every forward position. I think 5.8 mil is not too bad. It seems like a lot, but he's got another year after this year, so he's still signed. He is playing really well this year. 24 goals, 24 assists, 48 points. And some of the teams that might be looking for, like I said, I was talking to you before about this guy's literally like he's a heavy player,
Yeah,
and he's someone that you get into the playoffs. Like the guy that I kind of think like last year was that the Golden Knights picked up was Barbashev,
yeah,
again from the Blues. I think Buchnevich is similar, maybe a little more skill, honestly. So I have maybe the Wings taking a peek at him, the Golden Knights. Again, like I said, kind of same move that they just did with Barbashev, and then the Panthers. That would be a nice fit for them too. I think where it would be someone that you could slot in on the second line, but like imagine having him on just your third line. I mean, he's a top 6 guy. Like so, you just have
if you have
embarrassment
him
of
on the
riches.
third, that would
It
be
would be
deadly.
it would be unbelievable. But like I would love if the Wings picked him up. He's a nice player, kind of
He's
underrated. Not everyone's really talking about him. He's not a name.
he's not a name, but he's a switchblade there.
Yeah,
And another guy who's sort of like a pocket knife here is Frank Vetrano there from the Ducks.
all star.
All star, that is true.
Yep.
Making 3.65, so nice contract there, and you still have him after this year, so still got him for a year. And like I said, bad Ducks team, 29 goals, 19 assists for 48 points.
He sent an absolute piss missile one timer goal at that Ottawa game I was
Yeah.
at with Randy. Oh my god, just buried it.
And then teams again: Detroit, Vegas, New York, Winnipeg, Vancouver. I'd like to see him there.
Yeah,
Edmonton.
I think he's going to be a pure rental, and that's why like the only reason I put Detroit is again because I'm plugged into it, and a lot of people are talking about some rumors about Detroit might be looking at him. I don't get it. I don't understand. He would be a
It
pure
wouldn't be a
rental. You're not
pure
going to
rental because
I don't think you'd
you got him for
re-sign him.
another year.
But I think Yzerman doesn't care about age. I really don't. So I mean, maybe, sure. I mean, well, I'll take more scoring. That's for sure.
Yeah, why not?
The first second goalie technically that we have on this list is at 11. It's Jake Allen. I had him at 13. Bobo had him at 10, and he's making 3.85 million. He's got another year left after this. Goals against average, I mean, 3.68. You know, Montreal's not that good this year. If you give him like he's almost like starting, they have Sam Montembeau as well. And like the third guy is I think like Caden Primo. So they're in a rebuild. You know, if you can get something for Jake Allen because the goalie market is a little thin, you know, move him because he's cheap. You can retain money on him. He's only going to cost the team maybe 2 million, not even. And it's like some of the teams that we were talking about. You know, the Hurricanes. You know, if they can't take a swing and a miss on Saros, like there's really nobody else you can go after. Maybe you go after Allen. The Stars also looking for a goalie. Edmonton as a
Maybe a
backup.
good 1B.
Toronto, if you want to throw him in there, Colorado could back up. So like that's something where you're going to see some of the couple goalies at the end of the list are similar teams for the same reason. But I think, you know, Jake Allen would be interesting. And I think he's high up on that list because he's not really making that much.
Yeah, only making like under 4 mil. That's not too shabby at all. You
Yeah.
don't pay goalies.
You don't pay goalies, and you don't pay running backs.
Thank you for getting the reference. I love it.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
don't pay
We
running
don't
backs.
pay running backs. Speaking of running backs, let's run away here with this next one. Horrible segue. Horrible segue.
I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, Riley Smith.
This guy's on fire today. I love it.
Riley Smith from the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Is that the jersey you have hanging in the background?
Yeah. Riley Smith, number 14.
Yeah.
No, he's number 19 on the Penguins. Otherwise,
Yeah.
So yeah,
compose yourself.
Let's bring it back. Let's
not. Fuck it. We're at like number 13. Let's just get crazy.
We're at number 12 actually.
Yeah, well,
playing either wing, making 5 years. You still got him for another year. It was 25 points. And again, we're looking at Vegas, Winnipeg, Florida, Vancouver, Edmonton. You're seeing the same thing. It's getting that guy that you could plug into the second, third line. It's
yeah, and he's only got the 10 for Pittsburgh. I don't know if like they got him when they made that trade for him. I was like, oh, that's a good move for the Penguins. But I guess this is kind of what he is. I mean, he's kind of like a third line guy at this point. But you're paying him a lot, so I don't even really understand why I put him that high.
I don't either.
So
I'll put him at 21, but
yeah, I was just like, I just assumed like, oh, he's got the Stanley Cup from last year. He's been through it. Maybe those type of intangibles bring him up a little bit. Maybe I'm full of shit. I don't know. Anthony Duclair's at 13. I had him at 12. You had him at 18. Younger guy playing for the Sharks, who are just terrible this year. He is a left winger or a right winger. He makes $3 million. He is UFA. He might even be RFA. I don't even know. I might have wrote that down wrong. But 13 goals, 9 assists for 22 points. Teams that could probably take a swing on him would be like the Rangers, the Jets, maybe the Canucks, the Oilers, the Kings, because he is affordable. Again, the Sharks are definitely going to use all three. If they're moving guys, they're going to use their retention slots. You get 3 of them. So it would be really easy for them to do that. So those are the type of teams I think a guy like Anthony Duclair could go to, probably just as a pure rental and just be a free agent in the offseason.
A little young gun here, I'd say. Taking a swing that we put in there was Trevor Zegras, playing either the left wing or center. Got a little bit higher there at 5.75, but you got him under contract for 2 extra years.
He's been hurt. He's been hurt. That's why the stats don't look that good.
7 points. Yeah, it's 7 points.
He hasn't been good this year.
But he's not the same guy that put up 65 and 61 the prior 2 years.
But he mishied this year.
No, like Zegras.
No, he mishied.
It's
same
mishied.
time as Bedard. Same day.
So
he didn't even have to do anything. He just went up the toe. It was great. But that's all he does. Liability defensively. Here's the thing. The teams that we have there, the
Vegas
Knights and
and
Hurricanes,
Carolina.
you could take you could go for him, but some teams that we don't have in here that would be interested in a guy like Zegras would be rebuilding teams. So one of the rumors would be Montreal. Would be looking for a young guy like this. He played with Caulfield, I'm pretty sure, right? With the development team and everything and the national team, USA. So I think teams like that would be looking to acquire a team or a player like Zegras. I don't know if like a playoff bound team would be willing to, give up a bunch of stuff to get him. Because if any Red Wings fan is like, oh, Zegras, it's like that is the last guy that Steve Yzerman would go after. You know why? Because the GM in Anaheim is Pat Verbeek. Well, they're not really. I don't think you have to give up that much, to be quite honest with you, to get him. Because I think the Ducks are selling low on him. I mean, he hasn't been that good.
That's true.
So, and Verbeek is from the school of Steve Yzerman. And when they interviewed him, hey, I like the same players as him. Well, guess what? That means if he's trading away Trevor Zegras, Steve Yzerman doesn't want him either. So the next one on the list is Jordan Eberle. Now, this is something where I probably now looking at this, I would switch him with Riley Smith on my list because I have him pretty low, and Bobo has him at 9.
The 9 slot.
Thing is, just today they were talking about Eberle wants to stay with Seattle and wants to extend because he's a UFA. So maybe that's a negotiating tactic, but he is making $5.5 million this year. Decent season so far, 14 goals, 21 assists for 35 points. but a team that maybe could look for him just for like some depth would be Tampa Bay. The Rangers are always looking for like a winger like that. And even like the Bruins, maybe. I could see that kind of happening to throw him in there in the top 6
I'd
because he's
see it.
still a good player. So
Yeah, I sort of see like Jordan Eberle if he does go to Boston, almost like in that Taylor Hall role, what he did a couple of years ago.
yeah, that's similar thinking, I guess, right? Where he's not like an old dude, but he's got some tread on the tires, right? And I think that's something that Boston would always take in the playoffs.
Well, absolutely. Another next guy we got here is defenseman Matt Dumba, 3.9 million, 9 points on the year. Always seems to be a name around trade deadline time.
Yeah, and he's on the Coyotes right now, so sign there and
sign in and hope to get traded.
Guess so. Sign the 1-year deal and let's get the hell out of here.
Sign, get the money, and leave. But then, it's, like we've been saying with defense, it's going to be Tampa, Toronto. We have the Jets in there as well. Looking at possibly adding some depth there.
Yeah, and I think I put the Jets just because they can actually afford him.
Yeah,
it's not as much. So, next guy, speaking of the Jets, is actually no, he's not on the Jets anymore. He's on the Columbus Blue Jackets, Jack Roslovic. So I had him at 20, Bobo 14. I think you definitely really value the centerman.
I do,
and I understand that. So center right wing, he's making $4 million just for this season. He's got 4 goals, 16 assists for 20 points. I see that the wing's looking at him. This is a guy that I think wouldn't cost too much. Maybe cost you like a 3rd rounder to go grab him. And he is slightly younger. I think he's like 26. And he is a player that I think Derek Lalonde said he wants another player up front that can move all over the lineup. He can play in the middle, can play on the wing. And I also have the Hurricanes maybe looking at him and the Bruins as well because he's affordable.
Yeah. Next is a guy that I didn't even have ranked.
Yeah, anyone that has a 25, I put there just as a this is kind of a placeholder for the math. So Bo would not have him ranked. I don't know why I had him higher. I thought he was better.
You had him at 14. Jeff Carter.
I've lost all credibility.
Still around. Any credibility we had to begin with is now gone, right? People are going to start booing you when they see you at the arena.
I thought it was Anson Carter.
I thought it was Hanson. The points match up for Hanson.
Oh, yeah.
9 points.
Yeah. By the way, I love that TNT panel with him. It's Bissonnette, Liam McHugh, and then it's always Anson Carter, and then like someone else. It'll be like Henrik, like Lundqvist or Chelios or somebody. I don't think anybody actually calls Anson Carter Ace. I think he made that up himself because anytime he's interviewing somebody, he'll be like, "Hey, Connor, it's Ace." it makes me laugh every time. I don't.
It doesn't. The nickname doesn't fit you, bud. The nickname doesn't fit.
It's just funny. Like, hey, all the power to him. But all right, Jeff Carter.
But Jeff Carter there, yeah, he's making over $3 million, and he's getting 9. He has his 9 points, but.
The way you said that was so passive aggressive. He's like, yeah, he's shit.
Yeah, pretty much. You get him for a bag of pucks, but Tampa, just add that. Like Tampa, it's similar to that Corey Perry field, like that third line guy.
Mm-hmm.
The Rangers, same thing in Boston. They always like to go after old guys for some reason. So, a couple of teams that may go in that fit there.
Yeah.
May fit.
19th, we've got ex-Red Wing Anthony Mantha. I had him at 17, Bo Bottom 23. He's a left wing, right wing, $5.7 million, which ironically was the deal that Yzerman signed him to. He is going to be UFA as the train goes by. And the trade deadline train is leaving.
9:30 train. Can't go.
Anthony Mantha has 20 goals this year, believe it or not. 14 assists, 34 points. But he also was a healthy scratch at one point during the year. That's who Anthony Mantha is.
Hey, shut up. We're trying to do a podcast here.
Shut the fuck up. So, Anthony Mantha, where can he go? I don't know. The usual suspects. Vegas Golden Knights, Winnipeg Jets, Vancouver Canucks, Edmonton Oilers. Right?
Yeah.
The little engine that could, dude, was he just sitting outside your house there? What the hell was going on?
I have no clue. It's just been going.
Wait a minute. Where the hell is there a train by your house?
By Green Giant. That's the closest thing, and
That's
you could
how
hear it
loud
from
that
there.
shit is?
You could hear it from there.
Damn. Man, my mom and dad lived right
Right
behind
behind the
train tracks, and
tracks.
it's like that was just as loud. You got to get some noise canceling, man.
Woo!
Woo
Woo!
woo!
No, we're good.
Anytime, anytime a trade gets made on Friday,
We're gonna have a
woo,
yeah, woo, woo.
I'm gonna have to get the a sound
Get a
effect
sound
on the
clip
stream
there.
deck here. That'd be so funny. All right, where the hell were we?
We're at Joel Edmondson
Your
there,
turn.
defenseman there.
I didn't have him ranked.
I had him at 15. Just I like because he's making peanuts.
Sure.
His points are peanuts as well, but
Yeah, they are.
it's a second line defenseman there you can get.
Third line. That's a third pair guy.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, if you're one of these teams that are going to be going for a defenseman like Tampa, Toronto, LA, it's
But to be fair,
to be fair,
to be fairs, he is in a like a playoff type guy. If you really think about it, he's just grit. You know what I mean? Like that's what he's going to bring to the table. He's not going to be like a power play dude. He's going to throw him on the penalty kill. He's going to be the third
on
pair.
the PK there,
Finish your hits. Ovi, you're on candid camera, dude. Oh my god, I'm getting I'm getting attacked. I need an enforcer. Are there any enforcers? Get Joel Edmondson in here.
There you go. That would just protect you right there.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and ignore the dog here. David Savard was another guy. Was it Cup last year or the year before that he got moved from Columbus to Tampa? And I think Detroit was the one that went in and got a pick to like retain.
I think it was last year.
Yeah, so Savard's making 3.5. Lou is not a fan of him. He thought he was going to be good, but 4 goals, 10 assists for 14 points. I think what Montreal was saying is it's going to take a lot to like get him, which doesn't make sense to me because guys, he's unrestricted. Like I don't think he's going to come back. Like I would go somewhere else if I was him.
Yeah,
but two teams that would need maybe a defenseman would be the Jets and the Leafs. That could go after a guy like that. Doesn't that scream Toronto? Like if they swing out, they miss on Tanev, they miss on some of these other guys.
And then
it's all right. We'll go get David Savard.
Yeah.
He used to be good, remember? And it's like not really. He had like one decent year with Columbus. That's it. And he has a beard.
Farm remembers.
Yeah, for sure. So that's David Savard.
You can never go to the Islanders. Never go to the Islanders.
Hey, you know a little bit about the next guy?
Yeah, former Canuck there, Anthony Beauvillier.
Where is he now?
He's in Chicago right now.
Yeah, he is. Okay.
Yeah, and he's getting a little more playing time just with injuries and whatnot. Making 4.
Doing a lot with it too.
Yeah, with the 6 points. It's man, like how are these guys in the league still?
Make some money, man.
Making money.
He's cashing a $4 million check. Imagine that for 2 bingos.
For 2, yeah.
I could do that.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Bobo would go stand in front and hack and whack a couple in, that's for sure.
Why not?
So he does.
Why not? Boom, boom.
100%.
Just give me the axe.
Thomas Holmstrom.
Well, absolutely.
Who would be going after this stud Anthony Beauvillier, you think?
Not the Canucks, I'll tell you that much.
Did I have him on there?
No.
Yeah, I didn't.
No, the Rangers, the Oilers, just depth on the Oilers and Boston. It's another Boston-y type move.
Isn't that a Ken Holland trade? Who picked up Anthony Beauvillier for a 4th-round pick?
I could. Sad thing is, I could see something like that.
It'll probably happen, right? I don't know. The next guy we have, 23rd overall, Marc-Andre Fleury. He's making 3.5 this year, which is not that much. UFA, 289 goals against average with Minnesota. I think the reason we both didn't have him higher was because I don't know if Minnesota's actually selling. So, like, if they're in the hunt here, which I don't think they're right now on the outside looking in, correct?
I'm taking a look right now for you. Don't you worry. You just talk about Fleury.
I can't hear anything but your keyboard, bud. I don't want to talk about my... Yeah, so anyway, okay, Marc-Andre Fleury. Let's talk about him. Stanley Cup champion, multiple. And some of the teams that might be looking at him, again, are like the ones that we looking for that veteran presence, the same type of players that or the same type of thing like Jake Allen. So, you know, the Hurricanes, the Stars, the Oilers, the Leafs, Avalanche, like those would be the teams that would maybe go and call about Marc-Andre Fleury because, like, where's the Wild in the standings? They're wild card hunt, right?
They're 8 points out of the wild card.
8 points out? Okay, well then they probably should. So this is what things have changed where I would go, okay, knowing that now, I'd probably go after Fleury more than Jake Allen because he's probably more available, right?
Yeah.
Also, I think he has a no trade clause, so he's gonna pick. He can pick where he goes, right? He might not want to go
Yeah.
anywhere
If he wants to go, he chooses his
because
future.
this is probably his last year. What do you think?
I feel like he's going to do one more. I feel like next year is
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Because it's like he's been kind of jumping around. I don't know if he would want to just like, nah, I want to be here, just be done with it, right?
Yeah.
Next guy, 24th.
Yeah. Patty Maroon, a guy that you talk about grit.
You talk about skating in sand.
It's
It's Patty Maroon, man. That guy is the worst skater in the league by a lot.
he's
But
not
3
making
cups in a
anything.
row.
But he's not making anything. He's making less than $1 million. He's got 16 points. That's more than Jeff Carter. And then,
It is. More cups than Jeff too, but
there you go. And same teams out for the most part looking for wingers. The Golden Knights, the Rangers, Jets, Vancouver, but I don't think so. Edmonton, Kenny Holland move, and LA just because there's
they can afford it.
they can afford it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next guy, it's all the same teams, just take the Kings away because they probably can't afford it. Maybe they probably could eventually, but Dominic Kubalik, $2.5 million UFA. Should I bite my tongue? No, I'm not.
No.
Hey, how'd that trade work out for you guys, Ottawa? Didn't work too well. Everyone's like, oh, Kubalik's gonna come in and like he'll offset the Brinket's goal scoring. Now, I've never seen a guy like Kubalik not want to take a one-timer. That's all he does. Any puck that's coming, he's one-timing it. Doesn't matter if it's a laser beam at him or it's gonna like fly into the corner. He's gonna try to shoot it. I liked him on Detroit. I really did. Expendable because we got to Brinket, but I don't know if he has that much worth. The worth is that he's not making a lot. And technically, he is a guy you can stick on your third line and maybe your second power play. He's probably a guy like if you take a swing and a miss on like a Tarasenko, maybe now it's like go back to Kubalik. Like we can go and get him instead, right? So that's who we have. So that's technically our top 25. The next two that we have there, it's John Gibson on the Ducks because he has 3 more years left at 6.4. I don't know if there's really anybody that would be chomping at the bit to go get him.
Maybe Carolina,
but I don't know. If I would guess, I don't think he's getting moved. And then we have Tyson Barrie in there, so that's just because we each had him ranked differently. But 4.5 million. He's not the guy he used to be. He used to be this offensive guy. He's got a goal and 11 assists. But Tampa, Winnipeg, maybe would be the guys that would go after him. So those are all the like top. That's our top 27.
Our top 20,
25. But there are other players available, and some of these guys, there will be a chunk of these guys maybe that get moved. A guy that we added in right before we started was Tyler Toffoli. Now he'd be in the top 5. He'd be right where Gensel is if he's going to get moved because just like I said today, Pokey Ruff got fired, and the Devils are in free fall. Like they just can't win a game. And
Frank the Tank just having an aneurysm every time he goes to a game.
Oh my God. If the Mets suck too, he goes nuts. But Toffoli, like I remember at the beginning of the year we were talking about how the Devils had like this nasty top 6.
They should be a sick team.
They're not. And I mean their huge thing was goaltending too. They can't stop the puck, right? So Toffoli, 26 goals, 44 points. That's up there in that Gensel territory. So if he was going to get moved, I think it would be the same type of teams that would go after whoever would be looking at like Jake Gensel, right?
Yeah. I'd like to see him back in Vancouver.
Yeah. Maybe let's just do these in chunks of 3 just to get through them. So like Mike Hoffman, Tanner Pearson, similar type players, making about the same. I'm actually just going to run through these quick.
Yeah, just go.
With that.
Max
Pacioretty, I don't think he's going anywhere. Gergenson's like doesn't have that much worth. 7 goals, 0 assists. That's an interesting, point total line there. Tuna, we got Thomas Tatar.
Yeah.
He's been jumping around. He was on Avalanche, got traded to the Kraken. 11 points, not really anything there. Sammy Blais been a healthy scratch with the Blues. Tyler Johnson, he can play kind of everywhere. That's the only thing with the Blackhawks. Maybe, he has won a cup with Tampa, so maybe someone's looking at him. Now, Alex Wenberg, I think we probably should have had him in the top 25 because he's a pure center. The Kraken held him out of the game tonight for specifically trade reasons. So they are going to trade him.
Okay.
Victor Olofsson on the Sabres. He's supposed to be a power play specialist, but not so much. It looks like there. Kevin LeBanc has fallen off a cliff. I thought he used to be good. 2 goals this year, no good. Kasperi Kapanen, same idea. Barabanov from the Sharks. The Sharks are going to try to sell everybody they have, like LeBanc, Barabanov, Kaapo Kakinen at the bottom we're going to talk about. Oscar Sundqvist is on the Blues for the second time. Decent season so far, 21 points for him. So, that would be maybe a name that someone could go, throw a 4th rounder, a 5th rounder at him and go get him. He's cheap. Marco Scandella, 3.275, decent defenseman, Goligoski, Eric Johnson, Justin Schultz. Zach Bogosian would be an easy pickup for somebody that wants some grit. And then all the goalies here. So Elvis Merzlikins requested a trade. I don't know if he would be able to be moved with that contract. Peter Mrazek has actually been playing really well for the Blackhawks. A 304 goals against on that team is very impressive.
Yeah, considering
2 more years
in Chicago there, right?
Yep, 2 more years at 4.2. Kaapo Kakinen sucks. Karel Vishmelka, not too great. Kevin Lankinen, not great. And then Charlie Lindgren's been pretty good for the Caps, but they technically right now are in that wild card hunt. Hopefully they keep losing. But that's basically the whole list for the trade deadline. And what do you guys think? Like, I think our list is pretty good.
I think we did a good job.
If you go look at the TSN list or Fourth Period or Daily Faceoff, like all these things,
all these ones,
they're all similar, and you can kind of see that, like, this is how they do it, right? They go through, identify the buyers, identify the sellers, go to the sellers, see who would be available if they're unrestricted or might need to be moved, don't fit the team anymore, and then try to match it up with these buyers. How much cap space do they have? What positions do they need? What can they afford, right? So this is just an educated guess. Like, it doesn't mean that this is going to happen.
Yeah,
right?
we're not a credible thing anyway.
No, it's 100% we're credible. Like 100% this is all going to happen.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, on Friday, we're going to find out how many of these do we actually hit on, right? Because
hopefully a couple.
I think it would be it would be pretty funny. Like, what would be the number? Because I think the number for me to be like, wow, we did really, really good, because we didn't put like 17 different teams for each player. We put like 3 or 4, like tried to narrow it down.
Most of it was 6 for one guy.
Exactly.
So
like I think it's going to be something where if we get 10, that would be amazing.
Then I'm like, oh my God, we nailed it.
Because not all these guys might get, like, not all these guys are getting traded. That's how it works every year. Here's what's going to happen, okay? In the morning, Bobo's coming over. We're going to have some coffee with some something in it. And we're going to be watching TSN for the first 3 hours, and nothing's going to happen. And then around noon, a guy like Sergei Plotnikov or Byron Bitz are going to get traded, right? Those guys.
That'll be your, this year it's going to be your Zach Bogosian.
Well, it's like just someone will get moved, right? But then TSN will start doing like weird games and stuff, and they'll be like self-aware that like this sucks. Oh, also, there will be 3 or 4 trades that happen Thursday that ruin Friday for us, because that's how it works. And then we're gonna get some Za, right? The Red Wings will make a trade that'll blow my mind or piss me off, because that's just how it goes. I'll have to go into the garage and do a Red Wings report video while Bobo has a beer in here watching TSN, and then comes back out and tells me Justin Hall got traded for like a 7th round pick.
And then I go, not.
But at the same time, after all of that, after maybe it's going to be boring or not a lot of trades, or it's not what we expected,
3 o'clock will hit.
It'll hit. But at the end of the day, we're going to have some fun with it. I love doing this.
Oh, yeah.
I told people I told clients at work, I took Friday off, and they're like, why? And I was like they're stupid. It's trade deadline.
Yeah, it's trade deadline.
Like, duh. Like, what do you think? So, yeah. So if you guys agree with our list, maybe should there be someone else in there? I mean, I think that maybe some players that get traded that aren't on the list would just be like out of nowhere. Like, I don't know if there's going to be any crazy surprises like that.
Like your
Sometimes there
Sidney
is, but
Crosby trade.
yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But man, it's going to be interesting to see. So, um, what we'll be doing on Friday is we'll probably do a pod, I would say, once the deadline is kind of over and finished, and we can kind of recap, number one, if we were right on any of these, and number two, like what were the biggest
Yeah.
deals, what were the ones maybe that surprised
Who's
us,
our winners and
winners
losers
and losers
maybe?
maybe, um, to kind of go and like maybe some team needed something they couldn't get it done, or a team should have traded guys away and didn't get a good
And
return, or just didn't get it done. Things like that. Maybe a player got to go where they wanted to go, or got shafted and got sent to Phoenix. So
oh,
Arizona, whatever. But hey, man, we're
we're a
uh,
couple
we're
days away.
flying into the deadline. You got any final thoughts that you want to say about the NHL trade deadline?
No, like we said, we do this every year. Uh, Actually, I was on my Facebook and it looked like it was like 10 years ago we were watching Deadline, and can never like it's the second best hockey day of the year.
What's the top?
Free agency.
Now, listen, free agency is something that we need to do this for, because it is always crazy, and it's always stuff that happens like all on July 1st. So I think it would be really easy for us to I think I actually took the day before off.
Yeah, I
I
remember
think
you
I
did
took,
that.
yeah, where I think it's like June 30th. It's a Friday or something. I took it off, and then July 1st. So, I mean, we could do a double header, like double hangouts. Who knows?
Yeah, why not?
But
Why
that's
not?
down the line. But yeah, free agency has now become like the new trade deadline for me, just because so much happened.
Yeah,
The the emotions that I had last off season, dude. Remember that? You were here. They
you
went
were.
Reimer and then Justin Hall, which you broke to me, and I wanted to punch you because I thought you were joking. And then they turned it around and got like JT Comfer and
Yeah, we were on our way out somewhere, and then I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
Gostisbehere,
Comfers,
and
and
yeah, like they got a couple of these. I'm like, oh, okay, like makes a little more sense now, right? So yeah, anyway, okay, so that's episode
44
44 in the books, the trade deadline preview
preview show.
on the Buschy and Bobo show. We will see you guys Friday for the trade deadline. If anybody else celebrates, have fun. Happy trade deadline day. I hope your team gets or does what you want them to do. And if they don't, that's just reality, bud. So until next time, until Friday, it's the
Until
Buschy and Bobo
Friday.
show. See you
Signing
on,
off.
see you on deadline day.
Choo
Choo
choo!
choo!